Chapter 5 20 Ways of Becoming a Mystery. Now, I want to give you 20 basic things which you have implemented after what I have taught you so far. You have become a proper CEO after changing your culture, creating ladder holders, and understanding the people's mindset. If your mind is not set to do what follows below, then you have literally failed as CEO. It means you are not a CEO of your life, organization, or anything you are trying to lead. I want you to check these points one by one as I expand them and see where you are lagging behind as well as where you are excelling. Please do not lie to yourself. Lying to yourself will never take you anywhere. Number 1, remain a mystery. The biggest way of success in becoming a powerful CEO is to become a mystery. I want you to understand that this is a powerful art. If people can predict you, people can kill you. And if people can trace you, then they can attack you. A proper CEO must become a mystery. He should be someone who's unpredictable, not in terms of work, but in the way of living. What are you going to have for lunch? This may sound very basic, but take note of this. When everyone is going for a drink, don't go with them. When everyone is having lunch, don't eat with them. When everyone is doing the common thing, do not do that. Do the different thing. When everyone is taking a shower, take a sauna or do something totally different. I want you to become someone not similar to the rest of the group. Be unique to the point that many around you will ask, how does he do it? This is a proper CEO's mindset. Yes, you love your workers and you communicate with your workers, but on simple common things, become mysterious. When everyone else is expecting you to be sleeping, they must be surprised by your last seen time around 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. on social media. By doing so, that gives you power. Don't become a CEO who receives tips from other organizations. They will see you as a weak person, yet you must remain mysterious. When everyone else is expecting you to collect the money, just don't collect it. Do not be found where people are expecting to find you. Do not always pitch up at every event. Become a CEO that people envy and develop anxiety inside them to the point that they ask, what's happening? Where is he? Then you suddenly pitch up. By so doing, you maintain your seniority. You maintain your power and authority up there. You become a person who is not predictable. You become a powerful CEO. You program it. When everyone else is having their normal lunch, take an apple instead. Do not eat what they are eating. Try to find it, and that's what you get. Do physical exercises and train your mind at all times. If you are sharp in your mind, you will get it. Be smarter than everyone else around you. When the body is exercised, it also helps to have a fit and sharp mind. Exercise more than them. Read more than them. If you are a man of God, fast more than the congregation. Read more than the congregation. Understand more than the congregation. You must become a mystery. Do not be too predictable. They must get to a point where they say, you are doing better and more things than us because you are the CEO. By so doing, it maintains your position as the CEO. If you overindulge with them, they will lose respect for you, hence fail to submit to your authority. You only meet to understand them, but not to make friends. 2. Give deadlines that you can meet. When you become a leader or CEO and you set targets, always ensure that you meet them. Remember, I said you should become a role model because as their leader, people tend to listen to you and collect things into their subconscious mind. What can make them respect you is the issue of following what you have said and keeping your word. It is very key that you mention things and you do them. You set targets and you meet them. Do not promise anything and fail to deliver. It is better not to speak than speaking out and then failing to deliver. Deadlines are placed to be met. Do not speak out when you are not sure. It is very good to measure twice or even thrice before you cut. American former President Abraham Lincoln said that when faced with a task to cut a tree, he would take 8 hours to prepare the tools. What he was teaching here is the importance of preparation. This is how you should be as CEO. Before announcing anything, Ensure that you have done all the necessary research through your private angels and you are certain. When you say things and they come out as anticipated, people will always trust you in the future. Ted Levy of Harvard Business School wrote, "Creativity without implementation is irresponsibility. Ideas are nothing without execution, my dear. I want you to understand that if you have got an idea or anything that you have promised people, make it a point that you deliver, and this gives them assurance. Do you know that words are cheap and deeds are dear? When others merely speak, ensure that you actually do what you say. Be a doer. As I have always taught you, think the think and do the do." 3. Understand your customers clearly. I have heard people saying that the customer is king. Honestly speaking, it is the duty of the CEO to create systems which take care of the customer. When you are running a church, the people that are coming to receive Jesus Christ are your customers. Have you set aside systems to protect them? When we say customer is king, it's never really done because we do not see it in shops or organizations. Customers are the ones who dictate what happens more than you. They know your competitors more than you know them. They can tell you things that are about to happen even before we see them. The quality and standard that we give is determined by the customer's comments. Every brilliant CEO sets structures which analyze if customers are satisfied. If you are not taking care of that and you think you are a perfect CEO, you are lying. You must have a proper structure. Our problem is an income problem. It is those customers that bring that income as they buy goods and services from us. It is fundamental that you personally set aside systems to enable you to hear their concerns. They are the bosses because that is where the money comes from. You need customers today, and you still need them tomorrow. For instance, if you're running Yada TV or any other TV channel, your customers must be taken care of before they come and even after, thereby creating a mindset that customers are dear to you. You should set up systems that make them dear to you so that they always come back to you. Take note of the fact that you must become a CEO who is conscious of the customer. If you move to a new organization or you are promoted, always keep the customer in mind over all else. Number 4, what you say and what you do. Every CEO ought to be different. I want you to be very careful on what you do. In order to attain big goals as CEO, you must always do things that are extraordinary. Always remember that you are a model. If others are going 10 kilometers in a race, as CEO, ensure that you go 20 kilometers. When everyone is reading one book, read more. When everyone is crying, be strong, and that is what a practical CEO does. In the eyes of the people, they should see you as their leader because of how you act and react. What you say and do is very important. Written evidence is dangerous. Never be emotional to the extent that you send a message or email. Companies grow and others merge. People get promoted or change employees, yet you might have written a letter to your coworker or employee only to meet up later on when they are your supervisor. These things will follow us. At some point, I was disappointed by the way I was treated by a certain bank to the extent that I wanted to air my grievances on Yada TV. Fortunately, before I did that, God spoke to me. God softly told me to be careful. That stopped me from saying what I wanted to say, despite the fact that I was deeply hurt. I only realized a year later that I really wanted that bank to be part of my system. What we say today may and can haunt us tomorrow. We need to be very careful on written evidence. Do not be the kind of CEO who throws tantrums or emails all over scolding people. This may sound so basic, yet very important. I am creating the right mindset of a CEO in you. Do not act like a general worker. You are the CEO. What we say today will come after us tomorrow. You have to be very cautious on that. What we say today has a way of coming back to us. I want you to be careful on what you say today. Please be careful. It is very key for you to be careful. You are a CEO and your mind matters. 5. You must create thinking time. I may have skipped this on the foundation. That is, in books like BDC 1 and BDC 2, or the leadership books that I have written, but it's a very simple point that has worked for me. I remember Mr. Mwene giving me this tip as well. You must always give yourself between 45 minutes to 1 hour 30 minutes daily to think. We call it thinking time and noting time. This is beside your showering, jogging, or driving thinking. I am talking of time you take away from everyone. Remember, you are becoming a key life CEO, the one who not only goes for goals, but attains them. This time is very vital because it allows you to think and write. In other words, you are carrying a notebook and you are thinking. You are jotting down whatever comes across your mind. Great minds come when we develop and exercise our brains. If we do not grow our brains, we do not grow our businesses. I read Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. It is a very simple book which teaches that when you think, you grow rich. It's a matter of thinking, and you grow big by setting aside time to think. I am talking about different time from seminars and other programs that might require you to think. Make sure that every day you set aside a minimum of 45 minutes and a maximum of 1 hour 30 minutes of thinking. Just write down as you think and reflect. The Bible is clear in this. It says, "As a man thinketh, so is he." Proverbs 23, chapter 7. You will actually be following the instruction of God when you sit down and think. You need to showcase that by the way you live. Remember, we are creating a CEO mindset, so I will continue to give emphasis on the various points we have. 6. Know your people. Your other crucial power is knowing your people. You need to know who works for you and whoever is there in your company. Take that as a very wise action. Set aside 1 or 2 days in a month when you meet every worker of the organization on a one-on-one basis. When you meet each one of them, ask them this simple question: how are you doing? If you can do that whilst calling them by their first name, they will give you respect and understand that you are concerned about them. Do not allow your workers to feel as if you don't know them. Know them, but remain mysterious to them. Let them understand that you know them, but do not let them calculate your next move. It's an art which gives you power. Always, I repeat, always check on their position and what they are doing, whilst most importantly, how they are doing in their life. Make it a policy as a CEO to check on your workers to establish what they are doing and how they are doing. It's always important because it gives you power over them. They will all aspire to be you as you assure them that you know them individually. When you meet these people on a one-on-one basis, make them submit to you with a wise act. Get to know and understand their social problems and assure them to be the facilitator of solutions to the problems. Of course, the company may not have the capacity or policy to get that far in their social problems, but at least by asking, you are showing them that as the CEO, you are concerned. Remember, people have social problems, and no one can execute their duties properly when their mind is laden with stress. Therefore, by asking and showing concern, you lift them off the stress and they will submit more to you. It's the easiest way to earn their praise and submission. I remember my wife's former CEO at one of the local banks to provide some groceries from South Africa to the employees in time of economic hardship in 2008. It made me respect him because he was solving a problem which was there. The groceries were $30 or less, which was obviously way less than their monthly salaries. However, the mere fact that the CEO went out of his way to buy groceries from South Africa and gave them to his staff in the bank, that made everyone to respect him because those goods were now a rare commodity in the country at that time. He solved the problem by providing a solution which addressed the basic needs of the workers at a time when such commodities were rare. His interactive stance made him popular with his workers. One may ask, was the CEO benefiting from that move? My answer is yes. It was a wise move, done in a small way but massively effective. If you are a CEO employed by some other company, or you are not yet a CEO, though aspiring to be one, there is an art that I want you to follow. Get to work 45 minutes earlier than everyone else. Go home 15 minutes later than everyone else. Alternatively, you can do the vice versa. Come 15 minutes earlier than everyone else and then leave 45 minutes later than everyone else. Never come late on any day, and never leave earlier than anyone else. You will lose respect from your workers. An individual who comes to work late or leave earlier than the scheduled time is an indication of someone not interested in their work, or they are frustrated somehow. If one comes to work early, they are resembling that they are enjoying their work, and so does the one who leaves late. Of course, the workers may refer to you as a workaholic, but if you add the total extra hours, you will actually see that you have done far more than anyone else at that organization. That time difference will give you power above the rest. 7. Time. Time lost cannot be regained. Money lost can be recovered, but every minute that we lose cannot be regained. I have started an art where I make use of all my time. When I am driving, I listen to some audiobooks. When I am flying, I write some notes and attend to all my simple tasks, as well as other general things hanging on my head. I am not someone who gets into a plane and watches movies. Remember, I want to retire at 40, and I am only left with 5 years. So I have to make wise and productive use of the time left, and then rest from there onwards. Therefore, I have to make use of all the time that I get. When I am driving, I listen to audiobooks, and whilst on a plane, I write down notes and respond to messages as I explained above. I make productive use of the 5 hours or more when I am on a flight to a business meeting. When I reach the venue of the business meeting, I also make use of the time when everyone else is moving around to focus on my notes and other stuff. In doing this, I show the difference. Free time is supposed to be created, but don't mix business time with leisure time. Create your free time and balance the two wisely, and create some special moments that are unforgettable in your life because you need it. Whenever you have free time, take out your pen and write down notes of key areas that require attention so that you don't forget. That also makes you outstanding above the rest. Remember, your focus is to rise to higher levels. Also, that you are a cut above the rest. You are not ordinary. You are not a follower, but a leader. 8. People. The biggest investment that you can ever make in an organization is having good people. The Bible is also clear on that, as it says, "Men shall put unto your bosom." Luke chapter 6, verse 38. When you go anywhere and meet important people, keep a file or record of them. Also, keep a file or record of the workers. Such information is always vital. I tell you, when I rose to the top, I regretted. After missing some files and information of people who could have helped me in a very big way. The reason why I could not go back to them was that I had not kept their contact details. I only realized in 2018 that keeping files or contacts is very vital. If you are a CEO and there is no such file in your office, then you won't go anywhere. The information I am referring to includes business cards which we receive. Many of us throw them away, but only to require them after a year or so. Even when you are running a church, I want you to keep files of people with their contacts, especially those key people. It is very important. Write notes about them and refer to them from time to time. They may be of great use in certain areas of need tomorrow. That's not only your personal assistant's job, but your PA may be overwhelmed. We are talking of a contacts file containing details of people that you meet, people whom you may need or relate with. You need to constantly check and activate that file. It's very important. 9. Surprise bonuses. You must have a skill to give what we call informal surprise bonuses. When people are not expecting anything, that is when the CEO must surprise the organization. When you have formed proper teamwork and you are leading by example and understanding your opponents, there are times in which you must give surprise bonuses, which will make your workers to ululate and scream with joy. This will make them proper ladder holders who hold firm because you will be doing what no one else will be doing. You are surprising them when they are not expecting anything at all. This can be right in the middle of the month, when they are not expecting it. You can just do this with your private angels. Surprise your team. As I have emphasized before, you need private angels. 10. Teamwork. When you get an opportunity to lead, the first place to look at is teamwork. If your organization is not pulling in the same direction, there is no way that you can win anything. You must implement proper team spirit and people must pull in the same direction. This can be through words. You must have team building time so that your team has one vision and goal. Look at what happened to Mourinho in Manchester. When the new coach came, he did not change any players. He just placed team spirit and teamwork, and they started excelling. As I write this book, they have won 7 games in a row, which had not happened in a while. They even scored 5 goals in a match which happened when Ferguson was there. Sometimes when a team is in agreement, they can produce more results than anyone who is working individually. Do not allow your workers to do individual work. As CEO, introduce the team spirit within your organization. 11. Panicking and throwing tantrums. Panicking is cheap. That is how I see it. There are so many times when I was given lawsuits. I paused and lived through them. 3 times I was furnished with lawsuits after reacting to provocations. I was justified to snap, and I actually snapped. I shouted back, slapped, and pointed fingers, but when you get to a high position, pointing a finger is more than enough for a person to sue you. They do this because they understand how much you are willing to pay to protect your name. It is their word against yours. I have derived a lesson from this. It is very important to keep calm. In my incident, I panic, which is one thing you should never do because you cannot heal or deliver a person once that happens. For instance, when Jesus performed the wine miracle, he did not panic. That is why he thought of turning water into wine. You see, when one panics, their thinking capacity goes down and their adrenaline goes up. Panicking is cheap because it will distract you from seeing. A proper CEO does not react with the crowd and does not run when everyone else is running. You keep calm because people are looking for solutions from you. Do not panic or react. Even if you are justified to do so, do not. 12. Becoming a leader, not a manager. A good CEO is a leader by default. You are there to mentor your managers and other subordinates right down to the worker on the ground floor. Managers are under you, hence you have to show them the way. Managers implement what you have shown them. Therefore, you have to ensure that you are a good and exemplary leader. They must love you by reproducing you as you show them the way and as you give them access to grow. Be a leader who solves problems, who does not run away from any problems. This is a basic thing which is very, very important. Money and success follow leaders. Implement leadership qualities as I have taught you in the first books. People must see you as a leader and envy you because of your leadership qualities. Do not drop from being a leader. You must show that you are truly a leader through how you act and react. It should be plain for your team to see that you are a leader. Lead by example, and remember, a fish rots from the head, and live fish swim upstream. Prove that you and your team are alive by showcasing productive methods which demonstrate that you are a team of substance. 13. Explaining competition. Other people out there are competing with you and your organization. It is up to you as CEO to research on your competition and never underestimate it. It is dangerous to undermine it because you will be terminated before you progress. You must become a person who values competition and competitors. As CEO, you are competing against yourself, but other companies are competing against other companies within the same industry. Never underestimate your opponent, and neither should you allow your workers to assume that your opponents are weak. People rise out of the blue. Hence, you must always be ready to rise as they rise and attack when they attack. That is in doing good, not evil. I am talking about attacking with the knowledge that people are going to be against your organization. No one must rise after you or go beyond you. Take advantage of being first position. Number 2 is not good enough. I have always given you examples, like that of the first person who went to the moon. Neil Armstrong is known, and even those that were first to win world titles are known, but no one might know the second or the ones that came after them. I want you to create an image in which when one thinks of floor polish, they think of Cobra. Toothpaste, they think of Colgate. When one thinks of the best footballer, they think of Ronaldo. And in basketball, they think of Michael Jordan. There are other people or brands that can be better, but these ones were number one on the market. You need to create such an image in which everyone thinks of you after you have created an unstoppable competition. Do not underestimate your competitors. They might come after you, but may as well rise over and above you. Remain on top. That is the mentality you must have. 14. Fortune favors the brave. Risk management is key, and you must always manage your things. But do you know that fortune favors the brave? If you don't take risks and you aren't showing your people that you are brave, then fortune will not come to you. Prove to your people that you are brave. Braveness is proven by taking risks and remaining calm when you take serious risks. Even your children will also not be afraid to experiment, and the same applies to your workplace. Be brave enough to always be ready to make bold statements and make bold moves. Although you must remain a mystery, your mode of operation, however, must be clarified to your workers. The way you want your things to be done must be clear. 15. Harvest the most from your workforce. Everyone who is working for you has something within. Get the most out of them. This can be done by creating values which make them to bring out the best of themselves. You must become a CEO who makes people think outside the box. Make this a priority. They must produce for you to the fullest of their capacity. If you do not harvest the most out of your people, it means you have human resource you are paying, yet you won't get the most out of them. Remember, salaries are a great expense and can only be recovered through production, and that means getting the most out of your people. If you do not get the most out of people, yet you are paying them, it means you are losing. Our biggest challenge is income. You may never have enough, or you can get the most out of your people as you stretch them more. You do not need to make them aware that you are stretching them. You need wisdom to do this. You have to show them how things are done, so they produce the best through teamwork. 16. Receive great visitors. When you are at the top of an organization or a place where you are leading, you need to bear in mind that people will be looking at you and monitoring you from a distance. Those who come to you may judge and conclude, I have seen this happening to me at my workplace. The word of advice I want to give you is that when you are on top, always have an arrangement to meet great or influential people. When such people visit you, make sure your people are able to see them, and by so doing, because they have other people whom they look highly up to, fight to have such great visitors. Remember, greatness is not measured by who you visit, but by those who pay you visits. You need to ensure that your actions and reputation will draw such great people to you. You must guarantee regular visits by great people. Create an environment that attracts people with great names to come and sit in your church or listen to you talking, preaching, and praising the Lord. This will give you more mileage from those that are following you. The same should happen to your organization. You must have such great visitors and add value to your position and authority. But don't underestimate the issue of inviting great people, particularly in your church. The weaker ones and the smaller ones will continue to come to your church because they have seen that great people are coming to your church and listening to you and even greet you. Thus, it is an art for every CEO to have visits from great people. It gives you more mileage from your followers. When the President of America, Donald Trump, got into power, he visited such nations like North and South Korea. It appeared like his mission was to bring together big nations. These nations had never visited America during the time of former President Barack Obama, but they did during Trump's time. Why was Trump doing that? He was cleaning his name whilst showing the world that he is bigger than Obama. This is an art. It makes you to be respected way more than anyone else. These visitors I am talking about are not coming to speak to your workers per se, but they are coming to you, sometimes maybe just to listen to you. This proves to your workers that you are someone who can be listened to and you are a person that has power. It's not everyone that must speak to your workers. If you do that, you have allowed other people to preach to your people, and that is dangerous. You are likely to lose some of your ladder movers and holders. Let them come and listen to you as you speak, but not preach to your people. That appearance alone is important. Not only does it show your workers that you are special, but it also shows to other great people. 17. Becoming a listener. Despite being Chief Executive Officer, being mysterious and not being easily understood, it's important that every moment your employees speak to you, or if any one of them seeks dialogue with you, you must show them that you are a good listener and you don't rush. Remember, you aren't panicking and you are calm. I want you to take note of this. Don't listen to one side of the story. Stop, look, and listen. It is very important. Giving a judgment after listening to one side of the story always results in making mistakes. You will make a wrong judgment or decision. View both sides, analyze, and thus make proper judgment. It is imperative and paramount to make judgment after having an analysis of both sides. Those that speak more than they hear are the ones that judge based on one side of the story or report. 18. Creating a reporting system and solving problems. Problems left unsolved are problems delayed. They won't disappear. Moreover, bad things. Never hide an elephant. One way or the other, it will reappear. It is very important to be a CEO who attacks all challenges. When solving a problem, don't hide it, and neither should you sweep it under the carpet. Eventually, it will come after you, and it will disturb you as you walk. Try by all means to solve it and bring it to conclusion. Invest in solving problems and be ready to take out money in solving problems. That is very important, and it will clear the environment and promote growth for your company. Problems left hanging will conflict with your power, and if you are working with women, they hold grudges. Solve the grudges. If you are working with weak men, they also hold grudges. Thus, you need to solve them too. Ensure there are no grudges among your workers because that disturbs teamwork. It will also disturb your ladder holders and your ladder movers. Therefore, be careful if you tend to keep hidden elephants. That's a complete no. Don't hide any elephants. Make it clear. Solve the problems. 19. Communication clarity of model. Each time you talk to your people, they must see all your points clear, audible, and comprehensible at all times. Write and speak simple English so that people can grasp what you are communicating to them from bottom to top, from start to end. They must be able to repeat what you have said word by word to each other. That's interactive culture within an organization. Your model must be clear, like what I said in the chapter of culture. Let your culture be a winning culture, and let the culture be clear to everyone. Let everyone know what you do and how you plan to do it. You are an offensive manager, not a defensive manager. Remember, you want to get things done, and thus your model and instructions must be clear. Let it be clear to them all that if they don't follow suit, it may constitute a dismissal from work. Although you must remain a mystery, but your model of operation must be clarified to your workers. The way you want your things to be done must be clear. 20. Prayer. After all is said and done, and you have done everything that is expected of every CEO, You are keeping fit, you are a mystery, and everyone looks up to you. You become a model. All things that we see by our eyes were made by words. They are spiritual. They came from the Spirit. If you don't sort your spiritual side, you have done nothing. Learn to become a prayer warrior. I am not talking about public prayer when you pray at church or in the eyes of the people at work. Rather, don't pray with them at work. Here and there, yes, but not every time. I want your personal private prayer to be so huge that you become spiritual. A spiritual-minded person develops a cognizance in a lot of hidden things that you may not be able to see by your naked eyes. Thus, being spiritually up and spiritually motivated, let your relationship with God be sharp and clear. Lead like Jesus, and be a person who reads the Bible. It is a very important book. Don't allow your people to read the Bible more than you. As you are a CEO, I am teaching you to lead in a godly manner and not in any other manner that you may think of. Thus, become very prayerful, very spiritual. Fast. Don't allow your body to dominate you. Fast and exercising are sort of prayers. When you fast, exercise. When you exercise, pray. Punish your body. Become a unique CEO. Don't allow yourself to be forced by success without prayer. You won't go anywhere. And very soon you will break because you are not supported spiritually. Some mistakes that we make at work are because of lack of prayer. So I want you to be motivated by prayer and become prayerful. You communicate what is inside you and say what is inside you. Remember, you pray to your Father Almighty, who gives you everything that you need, the one who has already provided. Your motive for working is taking what is already yours. You are trying to change your generation. You have a killer instinct and a powerful instinct. You are praying and worshiping to get whatever is already yours. So, your communication is flat and you are confident. You are not fighting with God, but are relating with Him, with your words which are calm and words which show that you are His child, not His enemy. You understand that God comes to give life in its abundance, but the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. John 10, verse 10. It must be well programmed in your mind that resist the devil and he will flee away from you. James 4, verse 7. It must also be well programmed in you that you must put on the full armor to fight the wiles of the devil. Ephesians 6, verse 10. Because the world is a world where the wiles of the devil are against us and even our companies. You must be well aware of that. Thus, you have to pray so that you can be wise. It is wisdom that changes everything in our capacity. We all know that a tomato is a fruit, but we have never found it in the salad basket because knowledge is knowing what a tomato is, and wisdom is to know where to place the tomato. This is what you are praying for. Do you know how to implement things and how to use the resources that you have wisely? Do you know how to implement things and how to use the resources that you have wisely? Thus, prayer is a key thing. You must be prayerful more than anyone else. Don't underestimate being prayerful and being spiritual. Offside. Oliver Mtukudzi, the legend. I wrote this part on the 23rd of January 2019 while I was going to launch the book on the 1st of February 2019. What made me write this page was the aspect of Dr. Oliver Mtukudzi's sudden death. I took him as a personal hero and as a legend to all. I was shocked by his death. Unfortunately, I failed to visit the family in order to pass my condolences because I was out of the country. But I just thought to write his story in this book. I did it so that for a lifetime, people will remember that he's one person that I took as a hero. To me, he was a person who could not be defeated by challenges. After having produced 66 albums equating to his age of 66 years, it showed great creativity and thinking outside the box. Dr. Tuku was one of the singers who produced many albums in our country. and is celebrated by many people, including those from outside Zimbabwe. I was shocked to see tweets and Facebook pages of presidents from various nations speaking on and praising the greatness of Oliver Mtukudzi after he passed on. Through this music icon, I really saw massive greatness in a small country like Zimbabwe. I also hope that everyone will celebrate his greatness as I did even before he passed on. I cried when I was speaking to Mama Magaya about Tuku, and I said, if only Tuku could know that he was this great. Did he really know that everyone would cry when he's gone? I think there was supposed to be an art to monetize his fame or his popularity, and I think he didn't tap much into it. I remember him saying, I don't take music as a career, but as a passion. Nevertheless, every CEO must take their position into monetary value so that their children can inherit such invaluable legacy. I will be happy to hear that he left a rich legacy or some monetary assets for his family to inherit. I would be so much excited if such inheritable legacy exists. However, his greatness was undoubtedly amazing. What made me to write was, are we not supposed to have a hero's acre for such people in our country? Of course, such people may not qualify to be equally recognized as the liberation heroes of this country. But in a sense, they liberated us from anger and hatred across races into peace, laughter, joy, and love for all citizens of Zimbabwe. Through his music, he lifted the Zimbabwean flag and became a cultural and tourism ambassador for Zimbabwe. I believe that in order to encourage other people to become heroes of our country, their role and value must be linked to the economy and tourism of our country, and such people like Oliver Mtukudzi must be celebrated. It is my wish and prayer that Oliver Mtukudzi be honored and declared by the leadership of this country the status of a musical hero. Will he be declared a national hero? This is the question in my mind and that of others. Of course, there are war liberation heroes of our country who brought independence, but we also need economic heroes like him. Such people who touched the lives of many must be celebrated in a huge way. When we celebrate such heroes in a huge way, I think even our children will be inspired to follow suit and desire to do the same. By so doing, they will also be lifting the Zimbabwean flag. My opinion may be different from others, since everyone is entitled to their opinion, but I think Oliver Mtukudzi touched the lives of many, and he was one of the heroes in my time. He was great, and by producing 66 albums, I am proud to say that I listened to all the 66 albums and there was greatness in all of them. The lyrics, the instruments, and everything else in the vast expanse of his specialty genre, there was variation in every song that he did, and each song was special and unique. I tell you, I don't think it was easy. Try to compile one album and you will see how tough it is. One may be surprised to note that, up to the time of his passing away, Oliver Mtukudzi did not have a diplomatic passport. Tuku's influence was from the 1970s up to the year of his passing away in 2019, but never pondered by our own people to qualify for the diplomatic passport. It is a wonder why this may be difficult to celebrate our heroes whilst they are alive. He is my hero. Is he yours? A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by the men it honors, the men it remembers. By John F. Kennedy. 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 Kennedy.